I would have said to my wife, okay, can I have Isthembu? Obviously, she'd say no. You know? But then we have a helper, full-time live-in helper. That's a woman that is helping us. That would have been a part of Isthembu that did not have a cost to it.
I wouldn't have
Financial
thought
cost
about
that I must foot.
Yeah.
Yabona.
So having a second wife that can bear children for ukwakha umndeni would be a good advice, because at the end of the day you don't want to deprive indoda abantu ukuthi ingabi nabantwana because wena ufuna isithembu.
I rise, I fight, I win. What? Dark days can't hold me in.
Welcome to another episode of Oh Shit. We're older. Yes, as you guys might have realized by now, the episodes are racking up. Want to firstly thank you for all the subscribers, all the comments, all the love that you guys have been showing us in person, online, etc. Without further ado, it's been a minute. I like Drew's fit. You know, there was an episode where your fit wasn't, but today. No, that's fine.
Are you saying it wasn't nice, that one?
That one was.
I think I was there on that day.
No.
Could get better.
In the state in which I was in. As a gent, ngafika. Okay, I did better this.
Yeah, no, you did better, boy.
Thank you.
How much it are looking healthy? I can tell with some moisturizer.
Yes.
Yes, I believe a slap plan.
Hey, yes, ngiyageza like.
Okunye ke sikushiya kuNkulunkulu ngoba sidalwe the way
Dalwe ngakhona.
Yes, sir. Amen.
Use our faith. Hot topic today, as you guys are familiar with. We start with ask indoda. This is us, right? So we get questions that come in online. People reach out to us there in the streets of the world that we live in, and they give us questions that we can address as a collective, as a machita, to share perspective. So without further ado, ngifuna uqala vele ngale ask indoda. Lenda ask indoda lena angodingi man ngibona kahle so ithi bomalume
Yin love.
bomalume please keep me anonymous. I'm in my mid-20s.
Young man.
I am in a relationship with a guy who's almost in his 40s, no? So he's in his 30s, probably almost at the 40 level. He wants to make me Isthembu. Do you think it's a good idea for me to entertain that life?
Is this a woman?
This is a woman.
Oh.
We were written in from yes. We are making in life. We are making it, guys. We are being asked.
Yeah, so it's a young woman in her 20s, sure. Somebody who's almost 40, and he wants to make her Isthembu, right?
Yeah.
Sister wife. Now there's two parts to this, and I'm going to read the second one after after you guys have given me your feedback. Do you think it's a good idea for me to entertain it?
Isthembu.
Kuba Isthembu. Which Abe Isthembu. Abe is sister wife.
Well, it falls on the premise on, are you getting what you want without entertaining external factors? Which is Isthembu. Is that man giving you what you want? Is he giving you shelter? Is he giving you clothing? Is he feeding you? And is it to your level of satisfaction? And then the variables get phuma kancane niye kuphi kuphi nijave. Are you getting that? Because as when you're in your 20s, highly likely you're advised by your peers, and that's bad advice. I don't want to lie to you, and you should refrain from listening to them. No, mangabe you wanna consult with someone. If angeke uze lakithi, ya kugogo wakho, and you'll see ukuthi ngathi ya align le advice lena. So Isthembu is frowned upon because they have this thing about sharing indoda, and it's false, man. Isthembu is a cultural thing. Kukhulwe ngayo into eyenziwayo, and there is a necessity of it. And whatever we do, obviously there'll be pros and cons kuyo, where you'll find your balance and therefore you'll find your answer. Mara mina bengathi cimeza ungene kusithembu.
Eish.
All right, okay.
Yes,
I've
so-
heard Spokes'
So-
Kenzo, you wanna go?
Yeah.
Give your take.
Yes, Tim, because I think I grew up in a generation where I think Isthembu was being frowned upon and yonke leyo nto leyo. So from a cultural perspective point of view, I think it's a good thing because say for instance you can't have children, so umntana abantu unfortunately is not gonna have abantwana nawe. We understand. So having a second wife that can bear children for ukwakha umndeni would be a good advice because at the end of the day you don't want to deprive indoda abantu ukuthi ingabi nabantwana because wena ufuna isithembu. We understand. So rather him have isithembu nomuntu ongakwazi ukuba nabantwana and then afuna ukuwandisa futhi extra 3 more 4 more nabanye abantu. We understand. So from a cultural perspective point of view, I think it's a good idea. So now because now we live in esikhathini esamanje where like thathwa ngathi isithembu ubufebe ini. One thing I like about the guy is that he's vocal about it.
Yeah,
You understand? It's better than him going to have a child out there and then uzwe nje.
No, Kenzo, this is if I understand you correctly.
Yeah.
Lo Siso Spadele is a 25-year-old woman.
Yes.
Uhlomba out endala.
Yeah.
Le out endala easily as in I want to make you a second wife.
Yeah. Which is a good thing because why? A, she's still very young.
Yeah.
She can still bear abantwana for him, but however, she still has her cap. Luna la aphelela khona.
Of course.
But untanga yena he probably wants 6, 7, and unfortunately she can't have more than maybe
One wife,
3.
number one.
So we understand that. So I think having a second wife that can exist, add a little extra layer, it's a good idea. I don't see any problem with it. It's just that the society that we live in, we take bad advice from abangani. It can be a bad advice for more especially black women. Yeah, well, because kunokuthi umuntu afebe company abe vocal now athi yazini ngakunakekela yonke into ibe right kodwa ngifuna a second wife ukuthi andise umndeni. So I don't think it's really a bad idea.
Matela?
The problem I have with Tabiso's people when they give us stories, yes, we don't have a lot of content. We have what we have,
Yeah.
and then the rest will swim around, right?
No, ukudota lobo mfana. Sithatha lokho esinayo.
Work with what we got.
Yeah,
Cool. Touche.
Yeah.
So we are making a lot of assumptions there, but you did say something that I did like. You did say something that I did like. It's the pros and cons. So weigh, you know, yes, yena ufuna is team, right? You can't just make this all about Isthembu. It's what's in it for you, right? You as the person being asked. If you are to be in Isthembu, would you be fulfilled with everything you're going to get that comes with that? Maybe you're not even that, okay, age does play a factor. She's in her mid-20s.
Mid-20s.
So she might be someone that wants a lot of attention. So umuntu ona Isthembu, it's you can't give everybody 24 hours. Time is split. So depending on where you are in life and what you want out of a relationship, you can either say yes or no. So yena ufunan, right? So the thing about this Isthembu is, and this is the thing that most people actually leave out of it, is if you have multiple wives, they must all feel like they're the only one you have, which is very hard, right? It's hard and difficult. It's difficult but doable, depending on how much attention each one needs. At 20 somewhat, she might need slightly more. We don't know if this is her first relationship or someone in her 20s, this might be her first serious relationship. So she might want more than someone with multiple wives can offer. So you must ask yourself, what do I get out of this? What's in it for me? Mangena is Timbi. What do I want? Do I want 100%? Do I want to be taken care of and be nurtured? If he can provide that, then there's nothing wrong with getting into it. So if you tell people, they will tell you all of these ups and downs, right? But ask yourself, what do you want out of it? If that person can provide you with that, then get it, you know? So, what's in it for me? What if all she wants is financial stability and support and he can provide that? Then go in, because that's what you're in it for. What's in it for you, Mongena? Is kind of a big... So I would say, just ask yourself, what do you want? And can you still get that out of that relationship? As team.
So, the second part of it is And I wanted to hear your perspective, right? Because you guys are speaking
So
objectively.
there was more. He tricked us.
There's more.
Yabona la
Ngishilo.
utena,
Yenza
yabona la
ngamabomu.
utena.
Yenza
No,
ngamabomu.
No, okay.
yabona next episode.
And I wanted to break this down so that we can put a mirror in front of ourselves. Right?
Sure.
Right. So the second part of it is, and if I was your daughter,
Yeah.
what advice would you give me if I was your daughter? If a 40-year-old came to me and as a 25-year-old and said, "Ngifuna ukwenza isithembu." Now that you've said what you have said,
Sure.
there's a part that says, and if I was your daughter, what advice would you give me?
No, bafika yazi le topic leyinzima le ngathi kungaba nesipoko nje esingakhuluma nje.
Ngathi ngaba nomnyanya kahle azoyikhulumela
Can we
from
call a
a
friend?
perspective.
Yazi le inzima ngoba
Why
manje
inzima? Why inzima?
no phela manje sinokuba subjective njengabo baba einganeni zethu mara iqiniso ukuthi umntanakho umfazi wakho akunamehluko. Hey, ukuthi nje mina ingane zami ezincane man anikhona ukuzama bafethu oh
No,
yazi-
Rabazoba 25, angithi. At some point.
But that's okay. That's actually where I'm gonna start mine.
uyabona ke
I'm gonna
so
start mine at
manje
an age thing, yeah.
I would say mina ukuthi
Hey, when you say
hey
your trials.
Yeah, they brought your daughter now you are.
hayi le inzima kakhulu lena madoda hayi futhi nje ngiyaqala nje ukuthi mangiprocessa le mqondo yami le ingafiki ku 100% ijama la ku 86 bese kuvelwa enye into nje yabona
Yeah.
mara
I think isikhathi
yeah no my mama
I think also it comes from a point of is my daughter happy? I think the reason why I'm saying what I'm saying is that mhlambe ubaba lo ngizalile mekanisithembu. You understand? And therefore for us, yeah, it was normal to a point where we whether we liked it or not, my mom had to decide do I want this man or not. But because of how my dad could provide for both the first wife and my mom as the second wife, he could. And the benganaleyo gap leyo ukuthi ufila ngathi lo uthola special treatment more than my dad used to treat both women equally. So from a cultural perspective point of view, because I come from a royal family, if I can put it like that, umkhulu wami had 11 wives. So that was normal. We understand. So when I look at it from that perspective, in terms of ukwandisa umndeni, if my daughter feels ukuthi angifuni isithembu, I would understand ukuthi akusinto ifuna you want to be one with one person. However, if this person can take care of you and then ungafili ngathi kunomunye umuntu and then holistically wenza yonke into oyifisayo from endodeni, I don't see why not. Because even him having a second wife, he's still wandisa umndeni because you are under this very same marriage. So me looking at it from that perspective, yes, as ubaba uzowana le nto lokuthi hayi kumele ube nendoda eyi-one, indoda akhe ngabi ngoba we siyithatha as ubufebe. But if we're looking at it from a cultural perspective point of view, ukuba nesithembu was normal. And abantu konje mabayibizani ukuthwala uthola ukuthi umuntu omdala but he goes for a younger woman. It was normal. You understand? And leyo nto leyo people would see it ukuthi yeah, it's wise to have a child nentombazana encane ngoba ukuba nesigogwane unfortunately
hayibo intanga yakho
intanga yakho 38. We understand. So for now, ukwandisa umndeni, it can be a problem. But if she is happy, I think, and then akhona nayo happy ngayo yonke into ayitholayo from him, and then not feeling ukuthi ay kunomuntu othola special treatment, I think it shouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, look, I mean, true, and I've never been part of Isthembu.
Sorry.
But when you look at it, ikhatsakdala nezamanje zihlukile, right? Because lo kakdala, if you contextualize it, pre 1994, even earlier than that.
Yeah.
Abafazi basically had minimal rights. They couldn't work the jobs that they want, let alone get an education that they want. So they depended on lela bubezi elingithathile ukuthi lo
Uzomnakekela.
ngimlwela
Yeah.
and help me achieve all that I aspire to. So the harder he works, the more successful he is. I'm able to get some of those things that I aspire to because economically, legally, I'm not allowed to do those things. 2026, those limitations are not there anymore. Chances are indodakazi yakho has gone to school, so she has the rights, she has competency and skill, right? And she has the ability to be independent in her money, her actions, and so on and so forth, right? So she's empowered, she's umuntu aphelele. Those people or that environment is very different from that environment akudala. So will your child who's 25 fresh, we 2K, think they will survive Isthembu namhlanje when all that she's been hearing is live your best life, be strong, you are independent, and it shows up practically in economics, finance, literature, academics, all of it.
Isthembu only applies, I think, if a guy can financially
Standard.
akwazi ukunakekela both.
Standard.
You understand? I-standard leyo. Ngoba I think esikhathini samanje we dilute culture because now we live, it's 2026. So we do things differently. However, culture still remains as a culture. A culture ayinandaba yokuthi it's 2026 or beginning. Injalo. We understand? It will always be standard and primary as it is. We understand? Because the more we dilute it is the more now we deviate from a culture and then now we start to live in modern societal norm.
I'm going to throw in. So I'm going to take us back a bit. So I'm going to recap. The second part is said, if this was your daughter, so I'm technically expecting 4 different answers. We don't father the same. We're not from the same background. So to the point that the audience member made, it's how is this normal for them? I would have raised my daughter a certain way. They grew up with me. Mina angisijwayelanga Isthembu. However, I have to bring up the age again. Your daughter is a child till 18. At 25, you ask the question, is this something you want to do? If so, why? You have an adult discussion with an adult. She's your daughter, but she's an adult.
Yes.
So you need to ask the question, what do you want out of this relationship? And would this Isthembu give you that? Will that give you joy? You can't just say no because it is Isthembu, right? The idea of Isthembu can be shunned upon by different, because many people, many cultures have been what is the post participle Eurocentric? You have been describing Eurocentric, right? So you don't find certain things norms because Europeans don't do it. In our case, you are my daughter, but you're still 25. There's no one who honors Isthembu it. So I didn't raise you under that regime. Sounds so hardcore, but I never raised you under that. So Mankulma, now I'm speaking to you as another adult. Yes, you're my daughter, but you're still an adult. What do you want out of this Isthembu? What does this Isthembu come with, and will that satisfy you? If the answer is yes, I have to walk away, right? I can't just say no. If I'm saying no, why? Because I was asked. Because so I will speak to you, I won't say as an equal, but I need to understand what this means for you. What if it is what you want? I've actually had a female friend some time ago, and she mentioned to me that she doesn't mind this Isthembu as long as she's not the first wife.
Over 30.
No, in age. No, but I'm just telling you. No, of course. But the point she was making was, in other words, this person that I'm with had me and still took someone else. I would rather be chosen over someone else and be the second wife. So she doesn't mind this Isthembu as long as they didn't choose someone else over her. So she doesn't mind.
She wasn't the first betrayal.
I hear what you say. Also, the first wife comes with responsibilities she didn't want to take up. Like, dude, I want. They've had side people and they've been side, so they understand the life. But being official in a Isthembu means there are certain responsibilities that a first wife has that she doesn't want to have. She's like, no, I don't mind this Isthembu, but I don't want the responsibilities that the first wife comes with, right? So there's an understanding around what a Isthembu is differently across genders.
So I just want to ask this question. What are the responsibilities the first wife had that she feels that she doesn't want?
I've never been a first wife.
No, like I'm asking from
No, I hear what you say. No, but I think in her case, it's literally you are still There's a term for it. I actually forgot what it's called. But you are still their
Mamkul.
mamkul. That comes with responsibilities. There's certain decisions that fall on you because you are there.
Pela,
you
to
know?
take a second wife, you
Yeah.
must get the go-ahead from the first wife.
Yes.
I think
That's one of the responsibilities.
I think the main thing is where the gent mentioned Wuti, is this girl coming from that? Because i-foundational ntombazane is highly dependent on the upbringing yakhe.
I'm sorry to catch you there. Remember, they said you. It's your daughter. Don't
Yeah.
make
No,
it
well, that-
contextualized to someone else. It's where.
Yeah, no.
Your upbringing. How would your daughter
I would say,
take this?
Wuti, man, it's very bad because if a father prepares their daughter well enough for her to sustain herself, then she does not necessarily need marriage and therefore defeats the purpose of marriage.
Depends what she wants.
And
in
that
marriage.
may not be ideal.
It's one of the pillars of partnership.
Yeah, but
Economically.
it may not be a good thing necessarily. So you need for your daughter to survive under your wing as a father, but once she finds a mate, she must be able to be submissive to that mate to the fullest degree, and we cannot tell what the future holds. So I would say that as fathers, we have to be more responsible in the upbringing of our daughters to a certain age.
So that they don't desire tip.
No,
Is that what you say?
you have to be a father to them fully for them to comprehend what having a mate is. Therefore, if you're a father to them and you are married to their mother, they need to see how a male treats a woman by the way their father treats their mother.
Sure.
If you so happen to go through a divorce, what then? Okay, so now I am a child of divorce. How does now my father treat women? Does he treat them differently? Or is there a consistent parameter of measuring how a man should treat a woman, regardless of the relationship, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, or husband and wife?
Yeah.
That's what the daughter needs to comprehend.
Sure.
And then thirdly,
you.
through the father. I think it's the father's responsibility. And then thirdly enough, in what position are you putting your daughter in when she is of age to make adult decisions?
100%.
You see, because that's the critical point. Because me, as a father of a daughter, it is only now where I come to the realization that I am not supposed to prepare my daughter till she reaches 25. I must prepare her till she reaches 28. She's going to get more information at 18 than the son's going to get at 18. Because when she's at 18, she can be a woman. She can be of a different surname. There is no continuation of my surname through her.
Yes.
That's a fact.
100%.
It's not nice, but it's a fact.
Yeah.
She does not, carry on tradition with your surname. Your son does. Therefore, I think that's why it's a delayed practice, because it comes with grooming. It comes with a lot than what it does with the daughter. So, feel free to interject.
No, I don't. Being a father of sons, I don't kind of I won't say I don't like, but there's a part of that where you're saying raising a daughter means there's a point where you have to give up. It's kind of what you're saying. You're saying I need to be fully aware that my surname will end with her at some point. But with my son, it will never end. So it's almost as if you are investing more in the male child than you are in the female child in that regard. Because you are acknowledging that this will always be my surname that passes on. Is that what you're saying?
But that is exactly what I am saying.
Yeah.
That is exactly what I'm saying.
But you will always want them.
Oh, no, it's fine.
You will always want the best for them, and in so doing, you will groom them with the knowledge that brought you as far as it got you. So you want them to be the best version of themselves through what they learn through you. That's why I'm saying at 25, you have an adult discussion, because you're talking to an adult now. What you might have thought you taught them might not have been what they learned. There's a book I read, Free Economics by the two Stevens, and it literally speaks about how the influence of parenting to our children is not as influential as we think it is. Society will raise your children way more than you will, right? What you think you're imparting in your kids might not be what they get. So we are not, as it sucks to hear, but we are not as influential to our children as we think we are. The outside is. So how you raise your children will always be surpassed by where you raise your children. So the society they are encompassed around will raise your children more than you as the person. Remember, you have your kid from, they come home, they go to, you have your kid for certain hours, right? They're outside way more than they are with you. What you need to, in my understanding, or at least my opinion, is what you're doing is you're creating, in your child, you are creating a scaffolding. You are preparing them for what the world will bring. You will leave your bits of knowledge, but what you want them to do is to make decisions, personal decisions around what the world will give them. So you think I'm raising my child to, no, the world will raise them, right? When you speak to a child at 25, you are debating what this means for you. What have you learned out there that makes Isthembu a good idea or a bad idea? Let's talk about it, right? Don't try and impose because of how you raise them. It's not going to work.
Disagree on that point,
Sure.
Matela. It's because you say that society raises your daughter and the society is there. But what I say is, as a father, you are responsible of the society that you bring your daughter into.
Yes, the way.
So you still control what she's exposed to.
Yeah.
So it is up to you what you expose your daughter to. If I want my child to be adaptable, to be fully what I would presume as a woman, I would need to take her to certain places and experience certain things
100.
so that she's prepared at that level. If as a father, I'm going to be too prideful and to look beyond her being a woman and see her as my daughter, because that's two different things.
Sure.
When you see your daughter as a woman and you see your daughter as your daughter, it's two different things. The one is yours. The one is she is the woman. And she is a provider. She is a supportive structure. And she's not a supportive structure to you as a man. But for you to have her, there was a daughter.
Sure.
So for you, your value as a father is different from a man that is not raising daughters. It is completely different.
Fair.
You need to value the prospect of her bearing children as value. And how she bears these children and how she grooms them and raises them. That is your value as a father. But it is not even a value that you should have as a father. That's why I feel like, and I'm coming to this now, that as a father, you should only be responsible up until she's the age of 18.
100%.
Yeah. When she goes past 18, that is where, as a father, you start to detach certain things. There's certain things that must wither away progressively while maintaining support to her. She won't be able to interpret the withering away because you have not taught her that. Your presence is enough for her. But you know that you're detaching because there is another surname that needs to be attached to her for you to find her of value.
She's not any less yours though, but I hear
Yeah,
you.
because if it
I like
is
that.
yours,
I like
then I mean,
So I see Valin. I see Valin, my friend, because I don't think we've given her the person that is written to us. The
She
guidance
shouldn't
that
have
she
brought up fatherhood.
yeah, ubaba bakhe, ubaba bakhe.
Mlethela.
So
Ubaba bakhe.
with that, ne? Drew, what do you say? In or out?
I say it depends on what you want.
In or out?
No,
If
I'm
it was a
not
child, in or out?
You know,
If it was my child,
Yeah.
in if you're happy.
Okay, sharp.
Yeah, Mina, I just want to stretch this a bit. One thing I've noticed, because I come from a family AST.
Team 11.
My dad, yes, he never taught us about, more especially, we only have Intombazane one in the family. She never taught her how to be in Isthembu. But we know, us as guys, we know how to be in Isthembu because of our father. I think the knowledge that we lack most when it comes to men, we never teach our daughters how to be in a stable relationship. But when it comes to our sons, we can say, I know stable is manager. You understand? So when I have that double standard, so me personally, I feel lack of knowledge when it comes to female daughters, that's where it lacks. You understand? Because when it comes to us guys, I know you can have as many wives as you want, but can you tell your daughter to say ukuthi can you have another man.
So team,
Yabo. So mina what I'm saying ukuthi that lack of knowledge yiyo lento lele khabo. However, Isthembu is not really a bad thing. Me I can say ukuthi my
In or
daughter
out?
yeah mina in. Because why? If she is happy and if he can provide for her, because if me, I can say, "Guti, I decide to take 3 wives." It's normal for me,
Okay.
but is it normal for her? You understand? So yeah,
As a father of a daughter,
Sure.
which is very critical, I would say, as a father, I must have prepared her enough
yeah.
for whatever decision she makes. I must be able to support it. So I would have to say in, because I am for unity. I am for collaboration.
Ubandisi.
I am for group economics. I am for community. And umuntu wesifazane, not that they can't lead, but they need to have a leader, and they must come with the support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Provision is needed.
All right, no, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, to answer the 25-year-old, I would say,
Now thought.
yeah, I would say.
Hey, we have to see. What is that?
I mean, mine is very clear. From what I have seen and heard is Isthembu. If you are not from it, we will struggle to understand and grasp the concept and the complexity.
True.
If I see culture and it's not in your culture, you will struggle. Sure. No. With that being said, I would say my 25-year-old daughter, Puma Lapo, because I would not have raised you like that. Right? And also we know that from what you've seen or what I've seen in those kinds of relationships, if you are looking for umuntu ozokuphatha njengobabakho, akunake. And when you have kids, anake ingane zakho, akuphi attention, akuphi support, motivation. You're not going to get that from somebody who has 4 wives and is split.
No, that's
always. No, wait. Because practically, right, if you've got one person ognagay, you get 100% of their attention. If you've got 4 people like Malubanage as one person, it goes without saying that you will
25.
split. Yeah, you will split. It's just a ratios thing, right? It's a numbers thing. There's no you don't have 60 hours in a day. You have 24. So
but what you give and what I get is a different percentage. If I get 100%, but you are giving me 25%, that doesn't mean I'm receiving 25%.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Uti. If you're going to look at me and say, Ubabami, would you take me out? Ubabami, never. Ubabami has 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Because our daughters, we are the first reference of how a male should behave, should treat you, etc. Right?
Yeah.
If Ubabako is raising you in a particular way, and Sibolako is in a particular way because of your culture, Moyale uzosicakisa. So don't go.
Would you? And it's not what she asked. Now, would you rather your daughter be single or be in Isthembu?
I would advise her and say, Ntanam, where you are going is an uphill battle. Where you are is a different kind of battle. So if you're single, it's going to be a different kind of battle. You need to then choose your struggle. Right?
And you will support her.
I would say, don't do it. Just like any parent.
Don't do what?
Okay.
Okay.
Don't go into his temple because the uphill also I can't advise you because I've never lived that life.
And you don't know that life.
Mahatani, so you are a man, right? Dude. You are not going to experience it.
No, but regardless of whether I'm a man, yes, I am a man. But when she comes and says, Baba Nyakala, uyakhala, regardless of what you have been exposed to temple or not, so in that regard, I would say, the struggle that you choose, Ntanami, choose it knowing what I've advised you otherwise. Based on
100%.
how we've lived
Like
our
that.
life.
Otherwise, that means saying, Guti, my daughter,
Yeah.
I would say, Guti, as a father, prepare your daughter for her to make any decision she makes. And as a father, be the supportive ground of whatever decision she makes. That's what I think.
Ideally, you're right that we are supposed to prepare our kids for the world.
Yeah.
To be respond to the world. But that does not negate Guti, even though they are ready for it. uzokhala la yakhona.
Kumele akhale
No,
Thabiso.
akumele akhale.
Uzokhala.
That's wisdom. The wisdom says, you see, you look
Uzokhala.
at it, right? You look at the way you are going and you say, there's that hurdle, that hurdle, that hurdle, that hurdle. Here, there's that hurdle and that hurdle. Then you choose and you say, which way am I going?
Mara.
If she chooses 5 hurdles, uzokhala more.
Ngiyayizwa le nto eshandela.
No, Thabiso.
Because it's wisdom.
You have to
It's
understand,
life wisdom.
it's wisdom from the male's
No,
perspective.
it's life wisdom.
Ihlukile. Thabiso, kunezinto
25 years old.
esingazazi thina that women go through. That's why I can literally say, Guti, indodakazi yami at 18 will be more knowledgeable than my son at 18. More. And they will have more life experiences and life knowledge at 18, at the same age. But my daughter will know more because, Bowana, early. You know why, dude? It is not nice. She's your daughter until 18. After 18, you have to prepare her for the world.
No. That she's your daughter perpetually. You have to prepare her to survive the world from as early as possible
Yes.
to as late as possible. Because it's an
100%.
education thing, right?
Yes.
It doesn't stop at 18.
Yes.
Because at 18, your brain is not informed
Yeah.
to begin with, right?
It
That's why
starts.
the 18-year-old 2Ks are busy creating dust in this world. It's because they're 18.
Yeah, when I was like,
they are 20,
not
but
we
their
don't
brains
we don't
are
share
informed.
this this we think I'm a 2K awesome.
Guys.
Okay, so I know that we can go on and on and on about it, right? And I really love the conversation. I'm gonna let Drew jump in because it sounded like he wanted to say something.
No, it was
Then
also
we're gonna
I
wrap
as
it.
well.
Okay,
Then we're
both
gonna
of
wrap
them.
it up and move on to the next.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say to the point that that the
Me or Thabiso?
you guys went in.
No, I mean you're
I-
talking to fathers of
like-
Because
daughters.
yeah.
So this is the part I was gonna say for you. So Mina, the reason why my answer had a caveat is if you're happy, because that is a caveat. So you're saying now in Kenya if it's not bad. The reason why I'm saying this to you is, would you take Isthembu?
Mina, no.
Yeah. You see, that's the difference between the two of you.
Yeah.
And you didn't bring that up. You would take Isthembu, right?
Yeah.
Alright then. That's the reason why you would allow your daughter to go in, because you understand it's something
Yes.
that. So he's cutting out the double standard. If you had to say ungangeni mara wena ungangena, that's double standard.
100%.
He's being direct. I wouldn't do it, so I don't want
Because it
my
doesn't
daughter.
come from
He doesn't understand it.
No, you can't say that.
I don't
You
want
can't
it.
say that.
Yeah.
Bega. Because innately, as a man, you've got Isthembu genes running in your blood.
Naturally.
On
a Tuesday.
On
a Tuesday.
Like it's in there, right?
Yeah.
It's natural that we want to have more than one.
Yeah.
Right? And want to
There is
we
more
want
than
to
one.
collect them like Pokemon, right?
Yeah. There
We wanna
more
collect
than
them-
one.
We want to collect them like Pokemon. But wisdom then says, right? Wisdom then says, man, look at your life.
Yeah.
Look at your resources. Look at the peace you want in your life. Look at the
Yes.
stress that you want. Look at what level of attention you want to give your partners. Now, what level of attention and investment you want to give into your kids on a daily basis, and then calculate and say, "Guti, where do I want to go?" Yabo? So I don't have to have lived it. You can just make that surmise.
Mara-
You're a man.
I'm saying, Guti, as a man.
If you've had girlfriend, if you had more than one girlfriend, cool. You know who did that.
Yeah, but no, Thabiso. You see,
You can see from there.
you drawing it down to the relationship. Isthembu, it's bigger than that. Not bigger. Yabana for me, nane.
In some instances, it is.
Like, I would have said to my wife, okay, can I have Isthembu? Obviously, she'd say no. You know? But then we have a a helper. Full-time live-in helper. That's a woman that is helping us. That would have been a part of Isthembu that did not have a cost to it.
I wouldn't have
Financial
thought of
cost that
yeah.
I must
Fine,
fit.
Yeah.
Yabon. Number two, any department or any pathway where there's a woman being there. Like let's say you had a cleaner and then you had a cook, and you preferred your cook to be a woman because they cook
It's
a
always a
certain way.
woman.
Yeah, well, and then the cleaner was a woman because they clean a certain way. Now you've got two women. It shows, Guti, when as in order in your household, this is what you need. This is not what you want. This is not a luxury. Just because it's not a luxury for me, dude. You know,
It's a necessity.
it's a necessity and an inner duty now, because you have to understand one thing. Ne? Mago is Tembu. Ne? She has to feel a certain. There has to be a difference between unkosikazi wesithembu necleaner yakho. There has to be a difference. Mele akwazi ukuyifila le ukuthi no man doesn't. No, loudly ngangithanda. Akangithandi nje athanda loyana. But uyangithanda. Yabo, there's differentiation. So now again, now you're cook. Yabo. No, I said pyramid scheme post. That's it. Spogo. It's terrible. I believe it's linear. I think it's terrible. What it does, the only person who's above it unkosikazi, because she determines who you get. You as the man, you can't choose which one is Isthembu sakho. You have to justify. So anyego uthi yo nkosikazi wami ngicela ukuletha yabo senzokhipha amanye amagama yabo mara manje ngithi kuwe wena mawuzothi, when you're gonna say, I don't identify them by name, I identify them by purpose and value.
Yes, purpose
Pheka
and
man,
value,
yazini
makes sense.
ngidinga umuntu ozopheka ngoba ngifuna ukuthi wena mawushayisa emsebenzini ngene ebhavini uhlale nami ungazopheka.
No,
Hey,
but
ngifuna ukuthi
wait.
ungazopheka ungazoklina.
But that's idealistic. We all know we've got no bega jam. We all know that we've got a penchant for certain types that we'd like to bring into our world as number two and number. Ngiyakuzwa ukuthi idealistically should be linked on purpose, but you're not going to say ngoba uqala kwesithemba ngithi ya o qeli uyiqala uyashela.
Anje ushayisa
khona.
Yeah.
I need to type out.
Yeah. Yazi mina ngibuzane ne, yazi ngibuzane ke. Pheka.
That's what I'm saying.
Thabiso, okay pheka ke. Angeke umlandelo for ukhala lo muntu wona. You as nendoda enesithembu siyazi umehluko between isithembu nento nje yokuhlikinyizwa nje,
Nesifebe.
stress nje yokufinya nje, yabona ukhipha kwafinyela nje kwashiyela lapho
Guy.
uthi yabo. But indoda ezokwazi ukuhlonipha a woman that is within his household who's fulfilling a particular role. Not everybody's playing their role. Tabiso, I do not think when you would want your wife to cook on a Tuesday. I don't think, okay, maybe cooking, but cleaning on a Tuesday. Uzomzwela. Mara ukumzwela is you having to accept certain dirt, dude. Certain things that you don't want to live with. But now, because you fall into that thing. And I feel good.
No.
Don't compromise. Because you know what?
So how I would do it is, right, if I wouldn't expect umuntu wami ukuthi a cleaner on a Tuesday.
On a Monday to Friday.
Because I would work so hard that I would get a helper. No. A helper, umamkhize, wasekheze then on a
Under
55.
22. Under 22.
55.
Unama.
No one,
So- mina
no one is
nyamaza.
going to accept
Are
a
you
22-year-old help.
Are you saying because your justification for saying I will take this temple
Yeah.
as long as it's rooted in purpose.
Yeah.
If your wife finds you a glove, a 3, solid 3, 3,
Well, ungahleki, yeah.
does not have any of the features that you're attracted by.
Yeah.
But she's a good second wife material.
Yeah.
Athi, since you want Funis temple, here you go. Here's a 3.
Yeah.
Here's a 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Zanda cleaning.
Yeah.
Because she cleans a lot.
Yes.
Fit for purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, bam. But you can take that and be happy.
Ngicela ukuyiphendula ne.
Timekeeper.
Number one, ne?
Timekeeper.
Oh man.
Number one.
Or uzonyanya bethi boyipilo wase-LA.
Ay, babu kwempilo sekasemuva bheka. This woman, phela you must understand ukuthi lento le yokuhlikinyiza ne, it's minutes. So number one, does she fulfill a purpose? If she does, then she is of most value.
Yeah, no, then your house will always be clean.
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
solid 3.
Yes, mara makathambisa ungenza ukuthi ngizisole manje. Angisafuni manje Isthembu ke. Safuna ukucheata. Uzo. Ngifuna isilungu manje. I want to cheat.
Guys, I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this.
Angisabuyi la.
I'm seeing this.
Okay, cool.
I'm seeing this.
No, look, guys, I think we're actually over time.
Sister usikurisile.
We're actually over time.
Yeah.
We obviously didn't intend on spending this amount of time discussing.
We never do.
But I think and you know, the way that I'd broken up the question
Yeah.
was so that we can have these discussions.
Yeah, man.
Because I think it's something that we really need to be conscious of as men, ne? Is that the advice sometimes that we give, we must be able to take into our own homes and stand by it.
Release the double
Yeah.
standard.
Otherwise, there's no value. We become hypocrites, right?
Yes.
So I like that we are able to to separate the question, see niggas advice like we're giving a stranger, but then also internalize it and give advice that we're giving our own blood,
Yes, sir.
which makes it a lot more sensitive. All of a
Yeah.
sudden.
And also coming from it from based on experience also plays a huge role, because if you don't come from a family based on Isthembu, you have nothing to associate.
You have assumptions.
Yeah, you have assumptions. But once you grew up from it, you get to have a firm understanding of how important Isthembu is.
Yes.
We understand?
How important? Are you the foot?
No, I was
If
going to
you
actually
have
I was
born
going to rephrase
eating
that.
meat,
Ngoba why?
understand.
Also, I think the reason why I can tell Uguti, all of you here are not raised from Isthembu. However, I do understand what Sandile is also trying to imprint. This is the information that we don't raise our daughters into. But however, intwana incosi yakho yomjita mengazuthi nginopalisa nginothabiseng nginonomfundo, you'll be like, no, bavithize bonke boyi-true.
Yeah.
However, your daughter ngathi bandile no anele abafuna you'll frown upon it. You understand? However, mangathi ubandile unobanibani, you'll frown upon it because that is the reality that you are not exposed to. However, if the guy has a provision ukuthi akwazi ukunakekela both 1 and 2 equally 100%.
Okay, they think I'm Matela and then I'm gonna close.
Disclaimer, there's been a lot of names that have been thrown into this episode. Asbaz Labantu. This is I'm just saying.
Hypothetically speaking.
Asbaz Labantu.
Asbaz Labantu.
Let's,
Yeah.
But yeah, no. That is rap.
Yeah, no. So yeah, it's a wrap, guys. As you can tell, obviously, very, like I mentioned, contentious topic because we were able to internalize it.
Yes.
But I think these are the kinds of conversations we should be having.
Yes.
And it is the same consistency as a man that you must have, because you must stand up for what you say.
100%.
So
We men.
you must say
Nakwakho.
same tone, right?
Yeah.
And if you are different, that means you need to look inside and do some reflection. And on that note, please don't forget to subscribe and like. And yeah, let's get on the conversation, my favorite man. Online. It's been heavy.